Hey everyone, it's been a kind of a crazy time for me and for my partner. We're moving to Denver, Colorado. I know we've talked about that before. It is, a long distance move, and we started to pack things up, which means that the usual, backdrop of vinyl is like at least half packed up. And in fact, I tried to do this video with that background by setting this laptop up on a box, and I walked in the other room and came back, and actually I heard it from the other room. The box wasn't quite level, and the computer slipped and fell, about 4 feet to the ground. Scared the shit out of me. So far, everything looks okay though. Dodged a bullet on that one. But I want to make this kind of impromptu video to talk about my experience of seeing Bruce Springsteen last Friday night, the April 3rd, Friday night in Portland, Oregon. This was just a few days after he kicked off his tour in Minneapolis. So it was a crazy day for us because we had this house that we had thought we were renting in Denver kind of fall apart on us, and we had to quickly maneuver, and thank God our backup place was available. So excited about that. We do have a place lined up. We are moving forward with this move and all that. And it was kind of crazy though on Friday because we just had a crazy morning, and then we had to drive to Portland to see Bruce Springsteen. But once we hit the road, got in a pretty good mood, and especially once we hit the hotel, because it was full of Springsteen people. I mean, they were everywhere. The lobby was just packed. We put our stuff in our room, and we came down to the lobby, and we didn't think we'd be able to be seated right away and get any kind of food, but we found out through a very nice hostess, waitress, that we were going to be her very last customer. And she was super apologetic and amazing, actually. Comped our drinks, brought over extra drinks. So we had a really good time. We met this couple that sat across from us at the table, kind of a community table. And they had come in from San Diego, an older couple, and they were super, super excited to see him as well. There was this feeling of, like excitement about the show, but also like-mindedness over what's going on in America and why Springsteen is doing these shows. And that seemed to be as much of the conversation that we had with a couple across from us as actually seeing Springsteen, the excitement around that. But the energy was contagious just in the hotel, and we were super excited to go over there. The doors were kind of crazy, like letting people in. It was kind of nuts. We were not expecting I don't know what happened, but we got in right as they kicked in the first song. In fact, we could hear the speech that Bruce was delivering, which began like right when we hit the escalator going up to our seats. Now, I've had issues with Springsteen's ticket prices in the past. I think I've been pretty vocal about it. And I didn't go on the last tour. I'm not a person that always feels like I have to go see him every tour. I think this was my 8th time seeing Springsteen. I think it's split between 4 times acoustic by himself and 4 times with the E Street Band. But I was really excited about this one for mainly the reason he's going on tour, which is he feels like he has to say something. He can't be quiet in these times, and he has to be out there. And as he said during the show, this was not a planned tour, but it helps them to connect with us, and he knows it connects us to connect with him and the band, and that we're kind of all in this together. And it was incredible that way. It was so incredible that way. Just this feeling of, and if you don't agree with me politically, maybe you won't understand this, but not to get super into that, but it was just this feeling of people that have just been beaten down or just so tired of what's going on, so incredibly frustrated to see their country basically falling apart, and coming together as a group and seeing this concert and knowing they're there for the right reason, and we're all there to see him, but also because we're excited about what he's doing, what his mission is, why he's on the road, why he's talking about this stuff, and proud of him for doing that. For me, when the show started, I was just so blown away by the emotion of all of it. The fact that every single member of the E Street Band agreed to go on tour with relatively short notice, that he'd written a song about Minneapolis, that he was so moved to go on tour and talk about this, and that all of us were in this community experience. I think I started to get into, let me circle back a little bit, about ticket prices. I bitched about it before, but ticket prices for this show there were sections that were just fine, and we ended up paying, I believe it was $267 for 2 tickets. Now they were section 300, they're up there a little ways. We thought they'd be major nosebleed seats. We go there and we're pleasantly surprised. It's not bad at all. And we're kind of we're not straight off to the side, but a little off to the side. And we have this perfect kind of vantage point towards the stage. Of course, they're pretty miniature, but not so small that we can't look at the stage and appreciate what's going on and see the dynamics. But we also had video screens that were just perfectly placed where we could watch those as well. Yeah, felt like we weren't being taken advantage of, and we paid a reasonable amount to get in, and we're very happy, honestly, with our seats. So I was unprepared for the amount of emotion I would have. I mean, I was like tearing up during the first several songs. I mean, I said to Amanda afterwards, I think I was like weeping during the first half. I mean, it's kind of how it felt. It felt so overwhelming to be part of this. Every song just would go into another song and another song and another song that were all kind of felt unified by a mission. Maybe not directly political and directly related to what's going on, but very much creating a theme and a vibe, along with these interludes he would do talking about what's going on, little speeches. The band was phenomenal. I mean, I can usually make fun of the E Street Band a little bit, like, do you really need 17 people on stage? But it just worked, and it sounded so good. It sounded great for an arena. I mean, sure, it would sound better in a club or whatever, but I mean, it works so well. He had us on our feet. He had the audience so engaged the entire time. After a while, I noticed that like nobody was leaving, because we're packed in there pretty tight. It's not comfortable to get in and out of those seats, those rows, but nobody was moving around us. I mean, when somebody did, like off to the side, I had to like look for it. Even across the venue, it was illuminated. You could see like the exits and where people would go, and nobody congregating there, nobody coming in and out. Later heard about a medical emergency, but did not know that at all at the time. It felt like the concession stands must have been completely dead. If everybody's waiting for a time when people would want to get up and go grab a beer, it never came. I mean, we both would probably have loved to grab another beer when we were there, but there's no way we were like leaving our seats. It was that intense. It was that all-encompassing. We didn't want to miss a minute of it or a second of it. And it was fun. I mean, I really admire how people, and I think it's rare, certain artists can make a big show feel small. I think U2 are really talented with that. I also think that Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band are. I've seen him 3 other times. The first time I saw him was 1999. I didn't care for it. It felt like a big pep rally. It felt kind of like we were supposed to like it, but I really didn't. The second time was a Vote for Change tour. It was lean. He only played for an hour and a half, and I thought it was amazing. I thought it was really good. The third time I saw him was these are all with the E Street Band. Third time I saw him with the E Street Band was in 2012, I believe, or maybe 2011. I think it was Wrecking Ball. And that was a really good show too. That was excellent. I mean, that's when I walked away going, wow, this guy looks amazing. What an athletic, like 70-year-old or however old he was at the time, late 60s. I mean, getting around, bringing people up on stage and holding like little children. It was incredible. But this time was like admiration for who he was as a person, what he was as a like kind of ringleader of this like crazy big group. And this crowd, and keeping the crowd going, and feeling sad about what's going on in the country, but also feeling so good that we were with like-minded people, and they're playing this vital set. I mean, every song, like I said, kind of went one into another of songs that felt like they needed to be part of that. And I think at least half the songs were like more recent songs, last 30 years type songs. We didn't take many pictures, or I didn't. Amanda took some. Tried to take some videos, but it removed me from the situation. I didn't want to be removed from that for a second. So all of my videos that I did are like, I don't know, not very long. I don't think any of them are over a minute, but I'll try to include those too in here. War, kind of like in Minneapolis, if you've seen the video or even the promo video, he talks, gives a little speech, and then it's like, boom, just on a dime, the band kicks in when he says the word war. Fantastic opener. And it goes right into Born in the USA, which this was so powerful for me. I mean, I've had my loves and hates, kind of very polarized feelings about Born in the USA, the record, and that whole period, but I've kind of come around to it in quite a big way. But it was really powerful for me to hear him sing that song. And Tom Morello was out for both of those songs. Born in the USA just sounded just fantastic the way he was singing it, and just felt like he was pouring every ounce of his being into it. The crowd, I mean, we're so into it, and I don't think anybody was sitting down. Everybody was just like, this one song after another after another. So Born in the USA goes into Death to My Hometown. This was a surprise for me. I mean, this is off Wrecking Ball. It's like, you know, somebody's out there, I think Clarence's son, nephew, Jake was out there like playing a big bass drum, and it's just kind of this more almost Seeger Sessions kind of take on it. And of course, the lyrics all work really well. Death to my hometown. I mean, thinking about Minneapolis, thinking about other cities that have been really affected by everything that's been going on for the last year or so. No Surrender was great. Darkness on the Edge of Town, just phenomenal. I love that song, love that version. Really very, very powerful. A lot of these lyrics would take on new meaning when given the context of what's going on and being built one song after another after another. Then we get into Streets of Minneapolis, which was a lot more powerful, I thought, than the recorded version. Starts off kind of just him and his guitar singing it, and then gradually builds, and it becomes much more of a rock song. And I thought worked a lot better than the, which is probably a pretty rough version that he recorded originally, because he wrote the song so fast in response to what was going on in Minneapolis. But yeah, it was a great song, and it really worked here, I thought, really well. I'm glad it was part of the set. It had to be part of the set, of course. Goes right into The Promised Land. Unbelievably great song, very very appropriate off of Darkness on the Edge of Town. Then you get two river songs, Out in the Street, which makes sense. It's like, okay, out in the street, like people are out in the street. I mean, you can tie up most of these songs into the larger theme. Hungry Heart, I don't know, that was just fun, and it's one of my favorites, probably one of my favorite Springsteen songs. It always reminds me of Christmas. It always reminds me of a certain time, maybe being a kid around that time it was released. But it always sounds good. It sounded great. The audience sang half the lyrics to that one. Youngstown, the song off of Ghost of Tom Joad, obviously worked really well with his theme. Murder Incorporated, that's a song I think a lot of people get excited about. You don't play it very often. It was a song that was left over from Born in the USA, got reworked for a Greatest Hits compilation. I'm not a huge fan of that song, but I liked it in this whole context. What I was absolutely huge fan of was the next song he played, which I thought was one of the most powerful of the whole night, when he played American Skin, 41 Shots. Just definitely the most powerful version I've ever heard of that. I can't remember if he played it at the other shows that I had seen, but I will not forget the version they did here. Just insanely powerful, and that went right into Long Walk Home off Magic. Again, fitting the theme really well. And then we had the lone moment where he came out by himself playing acoustic guitar, and that was for House of a Thousand Guitars.
A criminal clown is on the throne. He steals what he can never own. May the truth ring out from every small town bar, and we'll light up the house of 1,000 guitars.
That went into My City of Ruins, and I mean, that was very, very powerful song he wrote, I think, about the New Jersey shoreline, Jersey Shore, and then repurposed it for 9/11, for the Rising, and yet again worked absolutely phenomenal in this context. And then we got to the Rising. Felt very beautiful, felt very grandiose in a good way. And then goes to Tom Joad, which I mean, I'm a huge fan of that song, and this version was phenomenal. Tom Morello's Moment, trading off verses, playing a great guitar solo. That version just works with this band. That was fantastic. And I would try to look at different members and kind of study them, and everybody seemed to be having a good time up there. Sometimes I think it's just so much excess, but I don't know, maybe it's from seeing more of a bird's eye, kind of looking down view at them, but it felt like they're all really needed. Sometimes I wonder how many guitars are actually plugged in and all that stuff, but that was really cool. Badlands was incredible. Tom Morello stayed out for that. And then we had Land of Hope and Dreams, which, the title song for the whole tour, very powerful. Then they kind of pretended to go away, but they just kind of, the lights went down. I mean, this is shocking, right? There's like how many people up on stage, and like nobody's really taking a break. I mean, some people way in the back, the horn section and some of the background vocalists, they might have come and gone a little bit, but I don't even think I saw Springsteen drink a glass of water. I mean, it's just crazy. Then they come back, or never really went away, but come back, and they do an encore of Born to Run. Sounded fantastic. Bobby Jean, I think the friendship between him and Little Steven and that song being a nod to that certainly wasn't lost on me. Dancing in the Dark was just fun, introduced the band. People were really dancing, and just, kind of a little bit of relief from maybe the seriousness of it. But like I said, it always felt like a party. Then it was a surprise for me. I mean, I glanced at the Minneapolis set list, but I didn't study it or anything. But I'd forgotten that they do 10th Avenue Freeze Out. I'd forgotten about Dancing in the Dark and Bobby Jean, too. They had a little tribute to Clarence Clemens and Danny Federici on screen for that, and as well as some kind of vintage E Street Band shots. And then they closed with Chimes of Freedom, which is Bob Dylan's song, and just seemed to be the perfect way to kind of close it all out. House lights come on, and it was This Land Is Your Land by Woody Guthrie. Every piece felt like it mattered. Every piece, like I said, felt like one song goes into another. It was a very joyous thing. It was the most fun I've had at a concert in a long time, and I'm so glad I went. I'm so glad that I decided to take a chance on going to a concert that wasn't near us in a time that's very busy. I mean, Portland's about 2.5 hour drive from here, but it was great. We went down there, we saw the show on Friday night, and we saw some friends, kind of said our little goodbyes, because we are, more connected with these friends when we're, a little closer. But good friends, we're not going to not be connected, but we want to go down and see them. So it was a really, really great weekend. We had seen Jeff Tweedy the night before on Thursday. Excellent show. I'm a huge fan of the Tweedy Band. That did not disappoint at all. Really good, but man, was that Springsteen show something special. This is not an ordinary Springsteen show. I think if you are going, see it through the lens of, I'm sure you probably do, of he is meeting this moment, and that is why he's on tour. It's not touring a record. It's not East Street Band shows that he was doing the last couple of years. It's completely different. The set is different. Super political, super joyous. I think it's just what we need, what certain people need right now. And I'm so thanking for that. And yeah, we were grinning ear to ear at the end of it. I mean, all during it, really, if I wasn't crying. So fantastic show. Definitely encourage anybody who's on the fence about trying to get tickets or going when it comes to a city near them to go if you can. Go if it doesn't break the bank. Hopefully I'll get lucky and find reasonable tickets like we did. But yeah, I'll continue with the Springsteen countdown, packing up my records. I am going to save the ones I need to talk about still, maybe pick some other ones. Otherwise, I'm going to be doing videos probably more like this. I have documented a little bit of the moving of records and all that, so I'll do a video more about that. But yes, long road ahead of us as far as moving, but we're getting there. And yeah, this is a really nice break from it all, for sure. Thanks, everyone.